Good evening to all. Is my voice is audible to all? Try to respond in chat box.
Good evening, everyone. I think I'm audible, right? Let me share my screen. Yes. Just confirm whether my screen is visible or not. Visible. Okay. From today onwards, we have to discuss the concepts of ES6 properties. We already discussed let, const, and where, the differences between these three, and we also discussed not audible. Not audible. Kindly confirm whether my voice is audible or not. Audible. Okay. Okay. That's fine. Thank you. So, Upendra, just check your internet connection once. So now we have to discuss the concept of rest and spread parameters. But before going in, we have to know what is the concept of destructuring. We already discussed. Yes, yesterday we have stopped in JSON. Definitely we will conclude it. But before going to that, we have to discuss a few more concepts. So these are the pending topics in the given syllabus. Definitely, don't worry about it. So first of all, we have to know destructuring. Do you have idea on destructuring? We already discussed. Thank you for sharing this syllabus, Vasu. Do you have any idea on destructuring? We already discussed. What is destructuring in JavaScript? Can anybody respond? Yes, Mahesh responded. Assigning multiple values at once. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Any other responses? Okay, assigning multiple values at once. That process is possible by using the concept of destructuring in JavaScript. Object can be seen as a collection of properties. That is also fine. So let me take a look into the destructuring first, and after that we will go to the concept of rest and spread parameters. For example, I'm going to create multiple variables here, such as var a comma b comma c, and I'm going to use 1 comma 2 comma 3. What will happen when we are going to declare the variables like this? What is the value of a, and what is the value of b, and what is the value of c? Here we used var a b c, that equals to 1 comma 2 comma 3. What is the value of a, and what is the value of b, and what is the value of c here? Let me print this once. I'm going to print a value. Here we are able to get unexpected error because the declaration syntax is wrong here. So when we are going to declare multiple variables at once, this is the bad idea. It's a wrong procedure. So we have to use destructure methods. For example, I'm going to create the collection by using a comma b comma c, and I'm going to use 1 comma 2 comma 3. That's it. Now we can check the value of a, value of b, and value of c. So we know a is having 1, b is having 2, and c equals to 3. If we want to assign multiple values, we have to use destructuring. We just used destructuring here. That's fine. When we are going to create multiple variables, for example, here x comma y, and I have 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6. So these are the values. Now what is the value of x and what is the value of y? Check this once. X is 1, that's fine. And what is y? Y is 2. What about remaining elements? So these are the wastage. So these elements are garbage because we declare 2 variables and we assign 2 values, that's it. But we have minimum, yes, nearly 6 elements. But how we are going to assign all these elements? And what about the remaining elements here? So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So what about them? So if we want to get the collection, we have to use rest parameter. Let me show you how to do that. I'm going to use same kind of example again. Here I'm going to use triple dot. Triple dot means rest parameter. So the first value will be assigned to this x and remaining values will be taken by this y. So that is called these are the rest. So rest of the elements will be assigned to this y. So that's why we are calling this as rest parameter. Now let me execute x value. X value is 1. And what about y? Y is having an array of elements. Those are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is all about the rest parameter. Rest parameter means we can access multiple values by using a same kind of array, same kind of variable. Object, we can assign multiple values to multiple variables together. Yes, absolutely right. Should be inside braces. What's that? We didn't use any kind of braces right now. We're just discussing the concept of arrays. Okay, so now I would like to create a function, and I'm going to use a function name that is addition. Okay, I'm going to pass the arguments, and if you want to sum all the elements, what we have to do? So we have to define a variable that sum equals to 0, and we have to use for off. For I of arcs, what we have to do? We have to do summation. So sum plus equals to I. So we can pass multiple values by using this function called addition, and we can pass multiple values. For example, I would like to sum, I would like to do addition operation on these elements. So 1 plus 2, that is 3 plus 3, 6, 10, 15, and 21. So finally we have to get the answer, that is 21. So we have to return the sum here. Return sum. Alright. So let me execute. Now that is the value 21. Here what we are doing, so we are just passing the rest operator, rest parameter. By using rest parameter, we can pass multiple values. That's fine. What happens when we are going to use multiple parameters together in a function definition? So here function addition, and I'm going to use a comma arcs. So the first value will be a, and the remaining values will be stored in this arcs array. The first value will be taken by a, and remaining will be stored in this arcs. When we are going to use sum operation, we are not using any kind of a, but here we assigned this one value, this one to the specific a element, but we are getting sum from all the elements of this arcs. So finally we will get 20 as the answer, because we already declared the a here. Remember everyone, when we are going to use rest operator, we have to use end of the arguments position. We have to use rest operator end of all the arguments here. So we have multiple arguments, we have to specify the rest operator at the ending. So very similar to this, when we are going to use dot arcs first. Dot arcs, and I'm going to use a. So let me execute. Now we are able to see rest parameter must be last formal parameter. So that is the reason we need to use the rest parameter the last at the ending of the parameters definition. The ending of the parameters list. So here we have multiple parameters. We have to define the parameter, that is rest parameter, in the ending position of it. Is that clear, everyone? Why should using representing array? Because we have to use rest and spread parameters for arrays concept only, or any kind of collection properties only. We just declared the concept of array. That is the reason we used array. Is that clear, Bharat? Is that clear, Bharat? Okay. Similarly, we have to discuss the concept of spread. We know rest parameter. How we are going to use rest parameter and what is the importance of rest parameter. Rest parameter means we can get rest of the elements as a subarray. But when we are going to spread the operator, that is also same kind of definition. We have to use three dots for defining that. But we have to understand what is the difference between the spread operator and the rest operator. We know what is rest operator. Rest operator is nothing but when we are going to pass multiple values, the rest of the elements will be assigned to a subarray, will be treated as a subarray. That is all about rest parameter. Then what? What does args means? Only store the variables or anything else it does. So yes, the arg store only values but in the format of collection. Is that clear, Upendra? That arg means arg stores the values, that is as a collection. Is that clear? Okay. So very similar to this, how we are going to use spread the operator. Spread means we can spread the elements. Spread means we can spread the elements. That's it. This is very simple logic. So we have to spread the elements of a collection. For example, I'm going to create an array where array1 equals to, I'm going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it. And I'm going to use second array, that is where array2 equals to, I'm going to use 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So these are the values available in this. So spread means we can spread the array, spreading the elements. So for example, I'm going to create a new array, that is new array, and I'm going to use spread operator, that is array1, and I'm going to use array2, array2. Yes. So let me display the information available in the new array. Now if you observe this, we are spreading all the elements. So we just spreading all the elements together. So very similar to this, when we are going to use traditional method, for example, we have array1 and array2. I'm going to create new array where new arr equals to, I'm going to use 1, array2. When we are going to define like this, I'm going to use new arr. So this, the elements are not displaying here. This array is separate and this array is separate. So when we are going to use like this, we are not spreading the elements, we are just storing the arrays in another array. When we are going to iterate all the elements from these kind of arrays, this is very difficult because we have to loop through by using one iteration statement, and we have to loop through these two arrays by using other iteration statement. So that is the reason it provides you a way to iterate the elements very quickly without using nested for loops or nested iteration statements. Spreading means we can spread the elements, that's it. Is that clear, everyone? As you understand the differences between the spread operator and rest operator, both are very similar for declaration, but we need to focus on the functionality of it. So we have to discuss, or we have to differentiate the functionalities of these two. Rest means it occupies the remaining elements or rest of the elements in the array or in the collection. Spread means by using spread operator we can spread the elements of the array. That is the difference, that's it. Yes, it's clear up to now, right? It's clear, right? Okay. We discussed let const block, array functions. So we already discussed default function parameters. So in the function concept we already discussed. The rest and spread parameter, spread operators are completed. Object literals, that is also one of the important concepts. And template literals, that is also completed. We have to use for strings. For off is also completed. JSON object hosting, yes, that is also completed. So we have to discuss the concept of object literals. This is the pending topic here. So that is very simple. Object literals are very simple. I will show you how to do that. So we know string template literals, whatever it may be, each and every concept is for shorthand. So I am going to create a function person, and I'm going to use name, role, and organization or org. So I'm going to use a function with parameters like this. Object literal means we can return an object in the return statement. So we just use a function, and here I'm going to return an object. For that, what we have to do, we have to use a return statement, and we have to pass same key and value here. I'm going to use name, and here what are the parameters? Name, role, arg. Alright, I'm going to use name here, comma, because this is an object, so we are returning an object. And very similar to this, we have to use role, that is role, and finally arg, org, that is arg. That's it. So we need not to use comma for ending the last entry. So name, role, and arg, this is arg, absolutely role. So this is the return statement. It means we are returning an object. So we know how to return a statement, or we know how to return a condition, but we have to know how we are going to return an object. That's what the object literals. So here we are returning the object return, and we are using braces, and this is one entry. Name and name is one entry, role and role is one entry, arg and arg is one entry. Alright, so now how we are going to execute this function? That is very important. So we have to call the function. So what is the function name here? That is person, and we have to pass the parameters. If you observe this, we already returned name, role, arg. But if you observe this, name undefined, role undefined, arg undefined. By default, we are able to see an object. We have by default keys here, that is name, role, and arg. But the values are completely different. Name, this is a name value, role value, arg value. The values are completely different, but we already created the keys here. But how we are going to pass the values to it? So we have to use person, and now we have to pass the values. For example, I'm going to use Hanuman role. So we have to use role, that is man developer, and finally organization, that is APSSDC. That's it. So here, if you observe this, we are passing the object. We are returning an object and we are passing the values, the parameters like this. If you execute this, what will happen? So we are able to get all the object values here. And very similar to this, we know how to return an object and we know how to pass the parameters. And finally, we are able to see the object like this here. But if I'm going to create a person's function again like this, function, and I'm going to use person, and I'm going to use same kind of values, name, role, and arg. Remember everyone, this is very, very important. This is one of the important concepts. And I'm going to return the object. So we know how to return the object. So we used name, role, and organization before. So we used name and equals to the name, and we used role and we equals to this role. Very similar to this, we used arg. So the value is arg only. So if you observe this here, name, this key and values are same. Role and role, these two are the same. Arg and arg, these two are the same. So we need not to use the name property again. So you can use name and you can use role and you can use arg directly. We need not to use any kind of values here, but we can pass the values directly from here. So let me pass the values. Person, I'm going to use Hanuman, alright. Man developer, and similarly organization, that is APSSDC. Let me execute. Now again we are able to see same kind of result, because this is called object literals. When the key and value are same in the definition, we need not to use the key value pair again. We can mention it in single way like this, name, role, and arg. Is that clear, everyone? Are you able to follow? Yes. Yes, it's clear. So this is one of the important concept. So we have to focus on these kind of concept in React.js. So when we are going to use a state methods, we have to follow this object literals. This is very, very important. When the name and the key are the same, then we have to use at least only one name or key, either key or value. Yes, it's clear. So here we are able to see only 31 attendance here. So this is very less number of count. Whatever it may be, I'm also not satisfied from the sessions from last 2 days, because we are getting lack of errors. All right. So the next concept. So these are all completed. So we discussed hosting and we discussed JSON object. And after that, all the concepts completed, we will discuss about the JSON object again. Don't worry about it. And this is very, very important. So we discussed events, and we will discuss them again very clearly in the next session, but we have to complete these concepts. What is window, what is screen, and what is location, what is history, and what is navigation. So let me discuss about these concepts. The first one is window. How we are going to use that? This is very, very important. So window, screen, location, history, and navigation. Let me discuss about the window first. Window only. We will discuss the concept of window property. Okay. So let me open the console. So if you want to get, or if you want to work with the windows, so here this is the window. So we have to use window property. I'm going to use window.alert first. Alert means we can get an alert in the browser. This is very similar to the normal alert. Window.alert means we can completely depends upon the window. Based on the window, we can get the alert. And very similar to this, we can check window.closed. Window.closed. It returns Boolean value. So closed is not a function. Closed is not a function. Yes. This is not a function. This is the statement window.closed. That's it. And now that is false, because so we can check whether the window is closed or not by using this. It returns only Boolean value. If the window closed, then we will get true as the result. Otherwise, we can get the false statement as the result. But how we are going to get the true value? That is worst scenario. So when we are going to close this window, how we are going to check the result? So because by using this, we can focus on only false statement. So we are not able to see the true statement here. If you are using iframes, if you are using multiple iframes, you can get number of iframes we used in that. For that, we have to use window.length. Window.length. We execute. Now 1. So here they used one iframe. So that is the reason we are able to see 1 as a result. Now again, I'm going to check this here. So I think we're able to see 0 because this web page doesn't have any kind of iframes here. So window dot length 0 because they didn't use any kind of iframes here. That is the reason we are able to see 0 as the result. Alright. So window.length means it returns number of iframes we used for the designing website. Similarly, you can get viewport area height by using inner height. I'm going to use window dot inner height, that is 665. The 665 pixels, and I'm going to close this too. Yes, height is 665 only, but we can reduce the width. For example, when I'm going to use a mobile device, let me check this window.inner height, that is 1523 height, because we are using something like mobile window. We are able to see that 1523 is the height here. Very similar to this, I'm going to remove this mobile screen and I'm going to use normal web page again. Again, I'm going to check the window.inner height. So when we are going to use window inner height in a desktop environment, we will get the less amount of height. And very similar to this, when we are going to use window.inner width. Inner width means we can get width of the specific window, that is 389. So let me drag this and let me check this window inner height, inner width. Now 531 because we just dragged in. So let me close this like this, and I would like to check this inner width again. Now that is 151. Very similar to this, when we are dragged to this area, let me check this, that is 748. You can find the inner width, the width of the specific browser, the viewport, by using inner width, and we can find the width and we can find the height also by using inner height function. Again, we can use history also, window.history. I'm going to use history, so it returns an object. So yes, we are able to see length is 1. So this returns the history of the window, that is 1 here. So I'm going to open a new window here, that is the new window, and I'm going to check window.history here. Window.history. Again, we are able to see 1 here. I'm going to use some navigation, that is hi. I just used a hi symbol and I checked it for this, and again I'm going to get back to this window, and I'm going to use window.history. Here if you observe this, we are able to see 2. Again I'm going to use something like any other information, that is something like I used ice drive, and again I'm going back to this. I would like to check this window.history again. That is length 2 because we are navigating from this page only. So that is the reason we are able to see the 2 as a result. So this is all about the history. And so we have local storage also, that is also very, very important. So let me use window.local storage. Storage is 0. If you want to store the values, you have to use key value pair. I'm going to use window.local storage. I'm going to pass key value pair. I'm going to use name, and I'm going to use Hanuman as the value. Let me execute. After missing. No, we have to use set item function. Let me use that. So we know local storage. I'm going to use local storage dot. I'm going to use set item. All right. So here we have to pass the key value pair. I'm going to use name, and I'm going to use Hanuman as a value. If you want to get the information, we have to use a window dot local storage. So we know the length of it. So we have one storage item here. So not only this, we can check from here also. For example, here we have sources and we have application. In that we can check the local storage. So this is the local storage. So where is that? New tab page. Yes, this is the name Hanuman. We're able to see the result here. Again, I'm going to use another item, local storage. Local storage dot set item. and I'm going to use full name, and here I'm going to use, I would like to use an object instead of it. So let me check this. So here I'm going to use data, that's it, data. And here I'm going to use name, that is Hanuman, comma. Again I'm going to use role, that is something like Marine developer. So we are just storing the value of value as an object. So local storage is not defined, so we have to use local storage, yes, capital, local storage, and execute. Now that's fine. And now it's time to check the local storage. So we have to use window.local storage. Window.local storage. Alright. So now we have two elements. Those are name, Hanuman, data. This is an object. The object length is 2 because we just 2 entries in this object. Again, I would like to check this from this application, and this is the data. This is the data. All right. So this is how we're going to use local storage. If you want to get the item from local storage, that is also very, very important. That is also very simple. So we have to use local storage dot get item. We have to use get item. Set item is for setting the item. Get item is for getting the information. And we have to pass the key. So we used data. So data is nothing but an object. So we're able to see that object here. Very similar to this, when we are going to use local storage dot get item of name. So we used name, right? So we can get the result, that is Hanuman. This is how we are going to get an item by using local storage. So if you want to remove the item, you can use remove item. Local storage dot remove item. I'm going to remove item, so we have to specify the key. So I'm going to remove the data. All right, let me check the local storage again. Now we are able to see only one result here. So this is all about the window object. So we discussed different kinds of statements or operators available in this Windows object. So those are window, right? So we discussed alert, history, length. Length returns the number of iframes we used. We can use frame also, frames. And similarly, we discussed inner height, inner width, and most importantly, we discussed local storage. All right. So very similar to this, we discussed inner height and inner width. Now we have to discuss what is outer height and outer width. Inner height and inner width means we can get the body information, but outer height and outer width means we can get all the tools information. So let me use that. So window dot outer height, that is 768. Let me use inner height again. Window dot inner height. So we will get 665 only. This is the difference. So by using this, we can get the tools and all this information. That is the height property. Very similar to this, I'm going to use window dot outer height, outer width. Yes, outer width. That is 1366. I'm going to use a window dot inner width. That is 663. Actually, inner width means we can calculate the area, that is body section. Outer width means we can get this console and all the stuff, the screen information. That is the difference. If we want to close the current window, we can use window.close also. Close is a function. So scripts may close only the windows that were opened by them. Yes. So when we are going to open by using scripts, then only we can close that. But we are opening manually. That is the reason we are getting this error or warning. Is it in window property is possible to remove multiple data items? No, 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 no. It's not possible. If you want to remove data, we have to use remove item. So we can remove only one item at a time. Is that clear, everyone? It's clear. Okay. Yes, you can clear at a certain item, but if you want to clear entire data, entire local storage, you can clear entire local storage. For example, let me check this local storage again. Local storage, and we have one item. So we can use local storage dot clear. That is one of the function. We can use that. So let me use local storage again. Now the length is 0. So we discussed outer width, outer height, outer width, and outer height. Similarly, we discussed the close function also. Sir, what about incognito window if you open browser in incognito? Wow. Window remove. What is window remove? What is the use of storing data in local storage? Yes. So we know JavaScript is a client-side scripting language. When we are going to store data in the database, we have to use server-side scripts. But here we are not using any kind of server-side scripts. We just using the browser. So if you want to store temporary data, we have to use local storage. This is one of the best example for storing temporary data. Repeat window.remove. Window.remove. We discussed local storage.remove item. Sir, what about yes, this is absolutely wonderful doubt. So I would like to create a local storage in incognito window. So whatever it may be, it stores some kind of data that is temporarily. So I'm going to use local storage here. Local storage. This is capital. So let me execute. Yes, this is fine. I'm going to use local storage dot set item, and I'm going to use name and I'm going to use data. Yes, where is that? So I'm going to use Durga. So Durga, I'm using your name, and we are going to set an item. So let me execute the local storage. So we are able to see that. So even when we are going to use incognito, that data will be stored. That's it. So again, I'm going to use a new incognito window. I'm going to check the local storage. Yes, the information available here. So let me close this window, and I would like to open this again. Control Shift N, right? Incognito, and I'm going to use Control Shift I. So again, I'm going to use local storage. Alright. So now we are able to see the length is 0. But when we are going to use local storage, if you close the window, the data will be stored in this normal browser without using incognito. When we are going to close the incognito window, all the data will be removed. So that is all about the window object. And the next concept, so window, screen, location, history, navigation. I would like to tell you about navigation. After that, we will discuss the screen, location, and history. So first of all, we have to discuss the navigation. So I would like to remove all the stuff. So navigation means it completely related to the server, the internet access. For example, if we have internet access, I'm going to use navigator dot online. So we have internet, so we will get true. So if you observe this here, I'm going to use network, right? Network, I'm going here, we are online. I'm going to make this offline. So where is that? This is offline. I just used offline here, and I'm going to use same condition, navigator dot online. Now if you observe this is the false statement. So in this page, we are not able to access any kind of internet access. Let me check hi again here. We are not able to get the result because no internet access, because we restricted to the browser here. We just used yes, we just used offline here. In the network tab, we used offline. So again, very similar to this, when we are going to have internet access, we can get online. So in WhatsApp also they use this event, navigator dot online or offline. So if you are having internet access and your application is opening, then there is an icon or there is a suggestion that you are in online, that shows online. If you are not available in online, you can get some kind of offline or no, nothing. You are not able to see any kind of this, any kind of data. So nothing it displays. When we are going to online, then it displays you are online. Alright, so they are using the criteria that is navigated that online. So I would like to make this as offline again, online again. So where is that? Offline. So I'm going to use online. All right. Okay. So very similar to this, when we are going to get the geolocation of your your location, you can use geolocation. So we have to use navigator dot geolocation. This is the geolocation, and what is the data available here? So it is used for describing the position of a specific user. I'm going to use navigator.geolocation. Okay, so I'm going to use uh, how we're going to use the location here, geolocation. Yes, I'm going to use navigator dot geolocation dot. I'm going to use get current position. So get current position is not available. Get current position. Yes, we have to pass latitude and latitude. No. We have to pass the coordinates. That is latitude and longitude. So without that, we can't access the location here. So if you want to get the position, we have to use latitude and longitude. So otherwise, we can't get the result. Okay, this is all about the geolocation. So geolocation is nothing but we can get the current position of your location. That's it. So very similar to this, we can get the app information. So here we are using Chrome application. So we can use navigator dot app name. By using app name, we can get what is the app name here. Wow, here we are using Netscape. Okay. So we are using Linux operating system. So that is the reason we are not able to access the Chrome directly. So yes, I'm going to check another data, that is navigator dot app version. Go to app version. Yes, we are able to see this is 5.0 Linux, and that is Chrome here. So my operating system is um, Kali Linux. So we're able to see the kernel of Mac here also. So we're able to see Safari here too. Very similar to this, I'm going to use navigator dot language, navigator dot language. So that is English, and GB is the country code. So these are the different kinds of properties available for this navigator. So most of the cases we have to use geolocation, but we have to send the latitude as well as the longitude also. Let me use longitude and latitude. So we have to use position dot. So what we have to do, coords. Let me use latitude. So position is not defined. Position is not defined.
Wait for a moment.
Yes, am I audible now? Am I audible? Okay. Yes, yes. So screen is not visible. Okay, okay. Okay. Thanks, sir. Is it possible to get network address of a user area? No, no, no. It's restricted. We have to use APIs for getting this. So we can't do directly by using JavaScript. We have to use APIs. So which time use in real-time project? DOM like and which time? What is the time means? Okay. Can we find? No, no, no. This is also for finding IP address. We have to use API only. So that is restricted data. We can't do that directly by using JavaScript. Yes, this is the one of the site for this. So do we use Windows or Navigate? So Windows has few properties and Navigator has few properties. So if you want to check the browser data or browser information, or if you want to work with the browser, we have to use window. Or if you want to get browser information, or if you want to get the internet information, all this stuff is available in the navigator. Yes, yes. Yes, it's clear. Is there any doubts? Is there any doubts again? Screen not visible. Okay, okay. Is this visible now? To get browser name, we have to use app name. Yes, yes. To get browser name, we have to use app name. So I will show you how to do that. So I'm going to use navigator dot no app name. We have yes, we need to get app name, right? So app name. So this is the browser. So let me use window.app name, right? Window.app name. You can use app address also. Let me execute. App name is not a function. Let me remove this and execute. That is also undefined. We have to get this information. Let me use yes for window related computations. We have to use navigator only. Navigator already we used, right? So navigator dot app name. So app is small. Yes, app name. Yes. So we are able to see this is Netscape. So are you able to get same kind of result? Everyone, are you use this one? This property, app name property. Kindly respond in the chat box. I'm getting, no, this is navigator. We have to use navigator dot app name. That's it. We are using browser Chrome, right? Yes, yes, we are using browser Chrome. Why just use app name only? Because that is a predefined property for the navigator. All of you are getting same kind of app name, that is Netscape. Yes, yes, Netscape is for Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. So that is the reason we are able to see app name as the Netscape. So, but we can get the OS information. So Netscape is common for Chrome, Firefox, and Internet Explorer, and Safari also. So that is the reason we are able to see Netscape only. But if you want to get the, what is the purpose of this site? You can get the IP address. Okay. So very similar to this, you can get the OS information also. For that, we have to use platform as the property here. I'm going to use navigator dot platform. So that is my OS is Linux. Linux, that is 64-bit operating system. Sir, by using JavaScript, save the date to servers. No, 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 no. This is not server side rendering. So if you want to work with server side, we have to use Node.js or Express. Are you able to get the operating system information by using platform? Can anybody respond? I am able to see that is Linux operating system because I am using it now. What about yours? Kindly respond in the chat box. I used a platform here. For because I'm using Linux operating system, that is the reason I'm able to see that that is Linux and this is 64-bit operating system. What about yours? Yes, you did it, and you are able to see our operating system information there. Windows 32. Is that right, Rajshekar Reddy? No, no. Yes, sir. Win64. So the bit evaluation is completely different. Some kind of users, few of you are getting 32-bit, and few of you are getting 64-bit. So whatever it may be, we are getting the platform, whether it is Windows or Linux or Mac. So we are able to get that information that is belongs to operating system, but we are not able to analyze the how much bits we are using. So you are using Windows 64. I think you downloaded the Chrome 32-bit version, browser 32-bit version. Maybe that is the difference. Okay, so the final concept, that is JSON is pending, right? So remaining concepts we will discuss tomorrow. Those are screen location and history. So these are very easy steps. So we will discuss about them, and we will focus on location most of the cases. And here these topics are the pending. Timers. Timers are nothing but set timeout, set interval, and clear interval. Page redirection means we have to use window.location, window.href, all this stuff. Okay, we will discuss about these tomorrow, but we have to uh, do some kind of computation by using this JSON object. We already did that. So most of the people are installed the web server for Chrome. All right. So is your browser having web server for Chrome extension? Kindly respond with the chat box. Yes, most of you guys install this extension. So we have to open our project by using this extension, because this is the lightweight server. We can run server-side rendering. That is very very important here. So yes, what is the question, sir? Can you give some interview questions for the HTML? So don't depend upon the interview questions and all this stuff. Just try to build a project by your own, and you can get the complete knowledge on it. So yes, so don't try to focus on some kind of questions, and after getting completed the questions, you can go through the interview. That is the worst scenario. You have to practice, and you have to build a project by your own, and you can get complete knowledge. So just implement an idea, and you can use the criteria we discussed for that idea, so that you can get clear idea on all this concept we discussed. So that is very very important. Don't focus on the interview questions directly. That is my suggestion. Okay, so let me open the web server for Chrome. So this is the new tab. Here I'm able to see an icon that is apps. From here I'm going to use 200. Okay, so this is the web server for Chrome here. So we install it. So let me open. Yes, this is opening now. And here we have to select the project folder. So choose folder, and I'm going to choose the project. So this is the project, right? So let me open this, and here we are able to see the URL under the server URL section. So you can open it. Yes, this is. So this is the document. So we are able to see the result here. This is the output that is having a sample content that is divisional. So now we have to discuss how we are going to get that information from the external file in the index.html. Okay, so let me open the project folder, Visual Studio Code. Did you open the project using server? Respond everyone. Are you using the server for opening your project? Respond everyone. Try to open it by using your server because we need to get information from the external file. Yes, Anil Yadav, yes, Anil Yadav and Kumar, you have to open your project by using your server, web server for Chrome. So I already told you how to do that. Try to open the project by using server. Shall I repeat the procedure? How to open the server and how to run a project from that? Yes. So you already installed the web server for Chrome extension, right? So you have to do one thing. So here there is an apps icon. So you can click on this apps icon and you can find the installed web server here. That is 200 OK. Or you can use this URL. Chrome and apps. You can use that URL in the Chrome browser and you can find the apps installed in your browser. And you have to select this 200 OK. I just clicked on the 200 OK web server for Chrome, and here we are able to see few kinds of options. From these options we have to choose our project. If you want to choose your project, you have to click on this choose folder option. I'm going to click on this choose folder option, and here this is the project we are going to build. So this is the project, so that is the reason I'm going to select it. Just click on open, and yes, here we are able to see the URL. Here we are able to observe the URL. You can click on this URL, the project will be opened in the new tab, like this. Again repeat this. Can I repeat this again? Can you repeat? Okay, repeat. I just repeated, right? So I hope you understood. Kindly respond in the chat box quick. So we have to get response from the JSON. Okay, okay. So that's fine. So okay, understood. So this is how we are going to run this. So you can find the URL here. That is something like 127.0.0.1:7. This is the URL here. Alright. So we already implemented a sample JS and 18 yesterday. So let me open the project. Open folder. So here we are going to select our project. This is the project. So this is the project, and we have JS, CSS, and index.html. This is our project. So we have these, and it's time to create a JSON file, new JSON file. I'm going to create a new JSON file here. I'm going to name it as data.json. Alright, so we created a new file that is data.json. I'm going to create a JSON information. We know how to create it. So we have to use braces like this. And each and every information is in the format of string in this. So we have to mention all the data in the format of string here. So I'm going to use data. And this is an object. So that is the reason I used braces here. And object is nothing but collection of entries. That is collection of key value pair. I'm going to use name. I'm going to use my name, right? And very similar to this, I'm going to use a role. That is, I'm going to use web developer. All right. And very similar to this, I'm going to use mobile. So I'm going to use 9885888 So this is the object. I just created this object. So this is the data.json here. All right. Now it's time to access this information in the index.html file. So that is very, very important. So for that we have to use the script elements. So in between the script elements, we have to use one of the fetch promise that is very, very important. I will tell you how to access it. So if you want to fetch data, we have to use fetch API. That is fetch, and we have to mention the URL. The URL is data.json only. We have to get information from this data.json. All right. So we mentioned that URL, that is data.json. And very similar to this, when we are going to get information from external file, that information will be stored in response. So we have to create a response for this. So I'm going to use the response. So this is the response. And here, for better understanding, let me print this. What kind of information we are getting from the external file. So I'm going to use console.log statement. And I'm going to use the res here. Res is nothing but response. You can use your customized name instead of res. Let me save this and execute in the browser. So we have to use this one only. So this URL only. Let me open the console. Here we are able to see the response. So we are able to get some kind of information that is okay. Status text that is okay. That means we can get the proper response. But so we need to convert into JS object. So we have to use res.json. I just used JSON. And let me check this again. Now we are able to see promise is pending. Fulfilled. This is an object. So here we are able to see the data. So this is the information we implemented in the data.json. So when we are going to use REST directly, that is a JSON object that is not supportable by this JavaScript. So that is the reason we have to convert it into JSON. And after that we will get the result. So JSON, this is a function. So we have to use functional braces, functional parentheses. Alright. So we know how to get information by using fetch API. We have to use fetch. And this is the URL, that is data.json, and we used then function because the information will be stored in this response. And if you want to access this information directly, so we have to use return statement here because we have to return the statement. All right. And after this, I'm going to use another then function. We can use multiple then functions, not a problem. So here I'm going to use a data. So when we are going to use data, the entire information will be stored in this parameter, that is data. So you can use console.log statement again here, console.log, and you can pass the data. Alright. So you can save this and execute in the browser. Now this is the data. So the data contains 3 entries. Those are mobile, name, and role. So this is how we are going to get information from the external file by using fetch API. So for better understanding, I would like to paste this code in the chart box, the sample code. So just try to use this, and if you are having any kind of doubts, we will explain this same procedure again tomorrow. So this is all about tomorrow's session, and it's time to wind up the session today, and we'll continue tomorrow.